All right, we're back in progress. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Family, friends, and the world. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful night? Tonight is the night after Sunday, the 14th of September, which is September 14th, 2025. This is the Sunday, which is the night after Sunday, which is really the second night of the week. And where we at, this is Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. And tonight, we got my brother G1. He's more like interviewing me. And we're calling this The Life of Mikael, Question and Answer, Part 1 and 2. Which we're in Part 2 right now. This is Part 2. And Part 1, we went through my beginning of me dancing when I was in Detroit, grow up in Detroit, dancing with some friends of mine in Detroit, Michigan. The things I went through, the things that happened to me, some of my experiences and my travels. And from there, we ended with me going to Germany, right? Excuse me. We ended with me going to Germany. So, I was going through a certain situation with the mother of my two oldest girls, and my stepfather gave me some advice, and I didn't want to leave, but I was going through hell. Just giving synopsis on the last point. Going through hell with my children's mother at the time. And my father gave my other father, stepfather, gave me some advice. Said, I didn't want to leave, but I was being controlled. Let me put it like that. And by me being controlled, because the mother of my children knew I love my children, and she was controlling me by the children and had the system behind her. And I was just going to leave, not knowing if I was going to stay or anything like that. And I was going to help my sister in Europe. And he told me something that really kind of snapped me out of the things that I was going through, being under a spell, you might as well say. When I say under a spell, I'm talking about, how we men, we want to do all we can for our children, but then our hands are tied. But when he said, at one time you never knew him, that there, okay, it kind of opened my eyes to a point, not saying I wanted to leave my children, but to do better for myself. And as me and G1 spoke on, if I hadn't have made that move, I could have been on a different level of life today compared to by making the move. I'm in a better position, but by knowing the things I've come to learn to know since I made the move. So now, last thing I was saying, that I went by the house to see my children, just to see my children before I left, but the mother of my children wouldn't let me in. She wouldn't let me see them that night. So I went to go, my friends of mine, Antonio Hollins and Andre was a friend of his. He stuttered a lot. Andre and Antonio, which is, we called him Charlie Brown, dropped me off of my cousin Joe's house and over his apartment. And I spent the night with him, which was the same apartment that I was staying at before I moved out of that apartment, going to Flint, same apartment, building that is. He took me from there to the airport. Next day, I caught the plane from Detroit Airport over to Germany. And in my travel, just to think about it, I'm glad to say that, just bring that up. In my travels, heading to Germany, I was in the regular point of the plane, and it was his brother. I guess he traveled back and forth all the time, but he was a star or a big figure in the music industry over there as well. What did he call himself? Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. We saw each other when we was traveling when I got into Imperial. We saw each other, but he told me his name. I cannot think of his name right off, but he was of a group over in Europe, because we had many groups in Europe, many groups in Europe. Many Americans was a part of the groups in Europe, but at this time I was traveling over there to go be with my sister. And what happened? They moved this brother to first class, and it started with a T. Travis. I can't think of his name. Not Trap. Travis. It's a name like my name is Juice, but I can't think of his name right now. It's probably gonna come later. But they moved him to first class because the people in the stewards in them couldn't speak German. They couldn't speak European, and he could speak European, and he helped them out big time. And he rode first class, and he invited me to come up to sit with him. So me and him, we riding first class. I didn't stay the whole time with him, but I stayed up there, and then I went back to my seat. But I sat up there with him for about maybe an hour or two. We sat down, talked. He told me that he was performing over there, and he was of a group, and I forgot the name of the group. But this was back in '93, and this was in '93 when I left Detroit going to Europe. I sat in first class with him. And as we were sitting in first class, we and him having a conversation. I don't know if she didn't show me a magazine or like that at the time, but we was talking. He told me it was a certain group he was with. I cannot think of the name right now. But I don't know if we changed numbers or not, but we got to know each other while he was making it. I remember his name then because we saw each other again, as I was saying, when I got with Imperial, not knowing I was going to get with him at this time. My point of I'm taking the plane from Detroit. We end up stopping in, we stopped in not New York, but New Jersey. We stopped in New Jersey. And I don't know, we went to Brussels from there. I think we may have stopped in Brussels, or we went straight to Germany, to Frankfurt Airport. And that's where my sister and them picked me up. My sister and my brother-in-law, Curtis, picked me up. Now I'm in Germany. Now, me being in Germany, now I'm calling to see how, I'm still always checking on my children, see how they doing. I call my children, my oldest girl's mother, which is my children's mother, called them, and she wondered where the number was coming from. I think I called collect because I think I called collect because I don't think she knew the number. I don't think I called directly there. I think I called collect, and it was from me. So when I think I told them, I don't know if they saw the number or if I just told them. I said, I'm in Germany. They said, what? I said, yeah, I was trying to come over to say bye to the children last night or the night before, but you wouldn't let me in. I'm in Germany now. So it's a whole different, but she still knew how to push my button. She still knew how to, quote unquote, piss me off. She still knew how to make me mad. And that's something when someone knows you in order how to tick you off and make you mad. So she knew how to do that. And every time I try to talk to my children. She either tried not to let me talk to them or whatever. And that was just some of the things I was going through at that time. So while I was there, got to know people around. And let me share with you. We was in Frankfurt, but we ended up going. I was staying in Darmstadt, Germany. That's where I was staying with my sister at the time. I was there with her and my brother-in-law, right? So being there, I'm the type of person I like to get out. You know what I'm saying? I like to get out and I think what it was, me and my sister, we got into like a little spat or something. And this was later on, like maybe a few weeks or maybe a month in or whatever. We was talking. I just may have gotten mad about something or whatever. So I like to go and I'd like to explore. I ended up going. I got on the trolley, the streetcar, rode downtown, walked around, just getting to know the place. Came back, everything was good. 2 days later, matter of fact, I made it there on the 18th. I left the 17th, I believe it was. I made it there on the 18th. No, because the 19th is my mother's Earth Day. Yep, I made it on the 18th. The 19th was my mother's Earth Day. The 20th was my sister's Earth Day. The 21st, she had my nephew, Christopher Alexander. She had him on the 21st. It's another Earth Day on the 22nd, but she had his Earth Day on the, she had his birth. She had the baby the day after her Earth Day. It was either the day after or 2 days after. It was either the 21st or the 22nd, but I believe it was the 21st. And I think it was a friend of hers or theirs. They had one on the 22nd. I don't remember. But the whole point, something is coming up for the 22nd, I don't know, of February. But I made it over there. I believe I left the 17th. I made it over there the 18th. And my mother's Earth Day was the 19th. My sister's was the 20th of February. And then they had Christopher on the 21st. That's where I believe it was. But no matter what, it was in track. It was in track just like that. And I remember getting there. I remember it rained and it snowed and rained the same day, or it rained while the sun was shining the same day when I made it there. I remember that. It rained while the sun was shining, or it snowed and rained the same day. I can't remember exactly. But I had a great time when I was over there. Now I'm getting a job with AFES. I'm getting a job with AFES, which is Army Air Force AAFES or AFFES. I forgot AFES. It's the name of the company for the civilians, I believe it is, that you would get a job with. So I ended up getting a job. I ended up working within less than a month, because I made it in February. By March, I was working at Anthony's Pizza on Cambrai Fish Concern, right? Anthony's Pizza there, right? So now I'm there. I'm working. I got a job. This is in 93. Yeah. February 93 is when I left, made it over there. So now in 93, I'm there, and dancing is in my blood. They had a place called Rainbow. I think that was the name of the club on Canberra. It's called was it Rainbow? I think it was Rainbow on Canberra Fish Concern Army base. And I was working at the food court at Anthony's Pizza, right? And I was working there for so long, a lot of people just knew who I was. You know how you working. I remember Sergeant, not Sergeant, Colonel Voisin, Colonel, Lieutenant, whatever his name is, Voisin. Voisin, he was the head over that whole concern. Voisin was his name. And I remember him telling me at one time, he said, "You was like a fixture there. It was like you was a part of the place, because everybody knew me, I got to I had a pleasing personality. I got to know a lot of people. A lot of people started seeing me for my dancing talent. Then I started recruiting people. Long story short, recruit people for the dance, and I end up meeting this young lady named Karen, right? Before I met her, I ended up being friends with this girl named Michelle and Stephanie. Michelle was mixed, Stephanie was Caucasian, she was German. But Stephanie was thick. Michelle was she was more like a medium size, and she was mixed. She was mixed, German and melanated. I don't like saying black. So we was real good friends. We traveled and whatever. We would go around places. They would introduce me to play people and things like that. And we would go out and stuff like that. And they had a friend named Karen, right? And when I first saw Karen, to me, it was like love at first sight. Well, I'm saying love at first sight, but I'm like, man, well, she fine. That's what my thoughts. I was like, she fine, boy, But what I like is that the fact that when you inquire and when you trying to find out about somebody, you're like, man, who was that person? Who was that? And they tell me, man, she ain't no hoe. She ain't out there like that. She don't see nobody. She ain't with nobody. Last person she with was so long ago. This and that, whatever. So I seen her 2 or 3 times. She couldn't talk English. She really couldn't talk English. She said very, very little words in English. And I just let her, I said, I like you. I let them know. I'm straight up. I think you cute. I'm telling Michelle and Stephanie, letting her know that I think she cute, whatever. So I ended up seeing her 2 or 3 times, seeing her at the club, seeing her on the Strassebahn on the train, the streetcar. And I think we ended up getting together one night, and I seen her this third time, and everybody just sitting down. They got these little beers about that big. I forgot the name of them, but they would be out there, just out in the park, sitting down, drinking or what have you, right? So we sitting out there, we talking, and that night we end up getting together. I put it like that. Me and her, we end up connecting. We talked a little bit, and I introduced her to Karen. I introduced Karen to my sister and my brother-in-law, and from that point on, we kicked it off, and we started getting to know each other. We started hanging. I was still working, and she started seeing. She seen that I would dance at the club, but then I started showing her some of the routines. One of them was End of the Road. Oh man, this is something I got. It's G1. This is getting ready to get good. I just thought about it. It just hit me. So me and Karen was together. I ended up running to this brother named Roy. He's another brother that I ended up running into. I forgot how we met, but me and him became pretty good friends. We were talking, and I was telling him about me being a dancer. I said, why don't y'all come and, learn this routine and what have you. So it was me, Karen, Roy. Then there was another one named, because it was only 4 of us. Then there was a twin. I forgot the twin name, but it was a twin. But one of them danced with us, and the other one wouldn't. He was more like, I ain't gonna say thuggish, but he was just more cool or whatever. But the other one, both of them was cool, but the other one, he liked it. Oh, it was the other one. Oh yeah, almost forgot about it. There was another Roy, and that was the one that was with it. But it was another one, Ray. It was gonna be 5 of us. I'm glad I didn't forget about him. This is a tearjerker I want to share with y'all too. Ray. Now Ray could catch on quick. He catch on to routines quick. He was starting, now us 5, we were starting to hang together, right? So now I'm showing them routines. The first routine I showed them was End of the Road, which was the last thing I showed in Flint before I left. The last routine I made up and showed in Flint before I left. And I forgot to share the group in Flint that we came together and we started touring. Our name was the Male Persuasion. That was the name of our group in Flint. The Male Persuasion. It was me, King Rod, Goldie, Smooth, and I forgot, it was one more. I forgot his name. But I think it was 4 or 5 of us together. And that was in Flint just before I ended up going to Europe. Now I'm in Europe. And I ended up getting these guys I'm sharing with you now. It was me, my lady. And all these was more like teenagers or a little older, just a little bit older, around teenagers or what have you, around 17, 18, 19 or what have you. So what happened was that I ended up pulling them together. It was me, Roy, Karen, Roy, Ray, and Tony. I think one of the boys' name was Tony or Tone or something like that. But they was twins. They were Samoan twins, right? They weren't big. They were Samoan twins. But it was us 5 at first. I showed them routines, right? End of the Road. Excuse me. End of the Road was one of the routines. Freak Me. I remember Freak Me by Silk. Together Forever by Shy. That's what we started the show off with. Together Forever. Silent Prayer, me and Karen did. Me and Karen did a routine of silent shit, and it was a beautiful routine. We kind of like We stripped each other down, and at the end of it, we said silent. Like she's in front of me, and I'm right here. We put our hand together. We said silent. We said prayer. We went down like we did, like one hand, my hand here and her hand here. Went down like that together in silent prayer. There was another one. The show was beautiful. How we got to that point was this. We started going around town. After I bring them to my sister's house, we was practicing first. And as we was practicing, now we started to go out. Now we at the bus stop. I said, okay, y'all, come on, let's do the routine real quick. Now it's dark, ain't nobody out. They shame. I said, man, come on, you shouldn't be ashamed to do the routine. Come on. And I would teach by count where you don't need no music. The way I teach, you don't need no music. I teach you by step and count, and you be able to catch everything. Unless it has a song with all the words, then you have to sing the songs to go with the moves. So you can either do one or two things. You either have a song with the moves that go to it, or you have a routine where you can just do the step and count together. So that's the way I teach. You know, I believe I'm a very good teacher when it comes to trying to show somebody, and so you can get an understanding behind it. And that's not only with that, with other things as well. So I believe I'm a pretty good teacher, all depending on if a person is willing to learn. But we was at the bus stop. We was at Strasserbahn, which is the streetcar. We was out there. Now, they were shame at first, but now we started getting into the routine. They want to do it where we go. We go to what they call them, a fair. What they call them, little fairs and stuff like that, but not the real big fairs. You know, that fairs they have around town. They have a lot of them in Germany. We go there. They want to say, come on, let's hit the routine. That's what we did here in Detroit. We used to do that in Detroit. Everywhere we go, if we get a crowd, bam, we'll hit a routine. Matter of fact, one thing we did, we was down at the when I was here in Detroit. Jump back on part one. When me Cosmic Breakers, we went down. I think Hollywood Swingers was having a show in Downtown Plaza in Detroit, at the Downtown Plaza. They was back there taking so much time. We took the stage. I mean, they was in the back. They said, come on, they waiting for them to come out. They was taking their time. We went on in that little spot of time. We went on stage and took the stage over. That was downtown at the plaza, at the plaza downtown Detroit, just to put that in. So that's the same thing we would do once they start getting comfortable and we started going around town together. We started hanging together, went around. The same thing what me and my group did here in Detroit, same thing we did in Germany. And I couldn't think of a name. So the Samoan, he came and said, what about smooth body? He said, I like the way we move. We moving smooth. And then he came up with the name, Smooth Bodies in Motion. And I said, that's a good name. So that's where Smooth Bodies in Motion came from the brother. I think his name is Tony. I believe his name, I can't remember. But I do remember Roy, Ray, me, Karen, and I can't think of his name. You know, hopefully he'll get a chance to check he see this video. But yeah, it was beautiful. And this was in 93. So in 93, now we're walking around, we're doing this and that, now we're building the name. Someone took they got what they call Stars and Stripes. They got a paper in Europe called Stars and Stripes. Anybody listening to this that's been in the army, that's been over there, you know what I'm talking about. They got a paper called Stars and Stripes. They end up putting us in. They interviewed me and took a picture of us. We was out at the fair one day, took a picture of us, and we end up doing they said MTV like show is going to be going on a certain Saturday. I had all that, and they in one of my Facebooks, they deleted my page and all my stuff is gone that I used to have that information in. But now, if I can ever open it back up, I can get all my stuff. But what happened was that they had an article of us having a show, an MTV like show, what have you, a 2-hour show, and I thank my sister Florine, which is the one who actually paid my fare to get over there. You know, she the one who paid the fare for me to get. I just got my passport, but she paid for me to come over there. And I thank my sister Florine, was Florine Harris, but Florine Alexander. Now she's Masada, you know, that's her Hebrew name now, which she's in the way of life. But she had hors d'oeuvres. Now I didn't think about that. I just thought of the show. We practiced, we got clothes for changing. We had a stage. A lot of people came to see. The place was packed. When I say the place was packed, but what I meant to share with you, why it was only 4 of us, because Ray's parents didn't want him to perform. Ray's parents, I don't know why, but they didn't want him to even be dealing with us. We wasn't no gang or nothing like that. We just go around performing and dancing. They didn't want him to be with us. So he was my best. He'd catch on routine. Matter of fact, I taught to the point, and I teach in order to get other people to learn how to teach. He was actually helping me teach them. But then he said his parents didn't want him to be a part of our group anymore. I was like, what? You know how you feel like you lose your star. You feel like you got, man, this is my right hand right here. So what ended up happening, they had an article, put it out there. I think we had about a week or two. So people got to hear about it. We let people know. And I think we did a couple of things here and there coming up to the show. So what happened was we got ourselves together. We had a 2-hour show. And when I say that show was beautiful, and I say it was a tearjerker, what happened, we started off the show with Together Forever by Shy, I think the name of the group was. Shy. And we did majority of those routines, plus we did a few fast routines as well. But those are slow routines. Also, we did, I forgot about Stay by Jodeci. We did Stay. We did Together, I said Together Forever. Stay, we did You and I could be one after all. We did that one. There were only 2 I can think of right now, but then Stay is one. That was one of my favorite routines that I did. That was one of my favorites I was doing here in Detroit too. Stay, Together Forever, You and I. Man, it's a lot of routine. We did, like I said, it was 2 hours. It was 2 hours. It was beautiful. But the last routine we did was End of the Road. We all 4 of us on stage. But check this out. It was beautiful. And sometimes it still gets me. We all on stage, right? Now, somebody said Ray was there, but I never saw him because we so busy doing what we doing. They said, Ray out there, what have you, right? So, the place was packed. We all up there. When that song, boom, End of the Road came on, Ray got up from the back of the club, back of the auditorium, walked up on stage. He looked at me. I said, fall in. He fell in. I still feel it. He fell in. Boy, we tore it up. We had a standing ovation. That was the last song of the night. We had a standing ovation. It was beautiful. I'm telling you, it's something. Every time I think about it, it brings a tear to my eye. It was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The way he came up, we did the routine. Everybody stood up, clapped, and then from that point on, we doing little eye stuff in this throughout '93. Now comes up. I'm getting to Imperial now. It's coming up soon. Now coming into '94. Now this is in '94. In '94, this is around the time of March. This is around the time of March, about the same time I started the job a year before. About the time of March, right? I'm at Anthony's Pizza. I'm working. It was a lady standing over across the way standing at the seats, the seats, the not the benches, what they call them, the little bar area. She was sitting down in the little area where they sit down and eat at, right? She wasn't military, or she was from the conversation. She's from out in the neighborhood. She wasn't in the army or part of it. So she was standing over there, and a lot of people just noticing, man, the lady just over there just looking. She's standing over there just looking. She's standing. But around lunchtime, a lot of people, instead of going to the dining facility, they would come to the over where we at the food court and get some pizza. And like I said, I knew a lot of people. I made a lot of friends there. So our line would be long. So we taking care of me. I forgot the sister name. Me, it was three of us, and I forgot what's the manager? Old guy, old white guy. He was cool. He would not president, or he was cool. And there was another short guy named Mike. The short guy, his name was Mike. The tall older guy, I forgot his name. I can't think of his name, but he was our manager. And then it was another Caucasian guy. But we would handle the whole the pizzas, the orders. We would do. It was three of us mainly, and we was the team. But just before that, in '93, it was this other guy who was more of a prejudice. He was there, and he would act, and everybody knew he was prejudiced, but he tried to hide it, couldn't hide it. But we all dealt with things a certain way. He ended up leaving. Another woman around there ended up leaving. But like I say, it ended up being me, the sister. She was like a little petite young lady. She was a sister. It was another guy who was tall. What was his name? His name Nathan? I forgot his name. But he was tall. He was kind of thick, not fat, but he was kind of thick. Not muscular or nothing. He was just kind of thick. He was tall, young. I think both of those was younger than me, or me and him may have been around the same age. Oh, I forgot Benny. Benny was the older guy. He kept the place clean. Old Benny. I don't call him old, but he was a cool brother. He was an elder, but he was cool. Had his Cadillac that he would ride around. He stayed over there. Him, and he was married. He would make the lemonade, and I would make it every once in a while. But he'd keep the place clean. That's Benny, but that just hit me. Just saw Benny's face. Benny, Mike, he'd be more like the handyman around there. I think it's Mr. Heminger, what I think his name was, which was the manager over Anthony's Pizza where we was at. But other than that, we three took care of everything. Me, the sister, and the other guy that was the tall guy. I don't like saying white and black, but I think he was German. But I don't like saying white and black, so I think he was German. But the point is, but he spoke English well. But we took care of that. So like I was saying, now when we in 94, around March of 94, the woman is standing over across from us, and we're doing pieces. We taking care of the line, everybody coming through. And that's another story. So something just hit my mind about me making sales about the mugs. It was Super Bowl mug that was coming up, and I was making sales with her. I'm doing the sales pretty good. But she, after the line died down, she just over there like she was just nervous, and everybody's like, "What's wrong with her?" We was wondering. Everybody was wondering, but nobody said nothing because we was working, but we was noticing the lady over there. So we're working. The line dies down. So we working. So she happened to come over there where we're at, and she come over there. She asked me, said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, yeah. She said, I hear you're a choreographer. I said, yes, I'm a choreographer. She said, who do you teach? I said, I can teach anybody. I can teach almost anybody. If they can step and count at the same time, I can teach them. Said, I need a choreographer. I said, really? She said, yeah. But these are some girls. Can you teach girls? I said, yeah, I can teach. She said, well, I have a cheerleader team. They don't have a routine, but they have a song they want to make a routine off of. I said, okay. She said, but they don't have a routine. They don't, and they're going to have a game coming up soon, which is like about a month or something like that. So I just had to get. I said, well, would you mind teaching them? And she said, I'll pay you and this and that or what have you. I said, well, we'll see. I'll come. Said, when you want to do it then. So we arranged it for the next day. We arranged it for the next day for me to teach. And the name of the team was the Darmstadt Diamonds, which like I said, we was in Darmstadt. This was a cheerleader team, but they was young cheerleader team. These was like teenagers, and I think it was 8 of them, right? It was eight young ladies. So I go the next day. I don't know if Karen was with me at the time. We was together, but I don't know if she was with me when I went. So we went, or I went, and because I know I told Karen about it. So I went. I think she might have been with me. She might have not. I don't remember. But the lady was there. So they played the song 10 years before it came out in the movie Madagascar. You got to move it, move it. You got to move it, move it. You got to move it, move it. You got to move it. Boom, 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 boom. I said, okay. So I'm listening. Now, this was in 94. Right. Yep. 94. This is in 94. So, and it was done by Real to Real. The name of the group that made it, or the two guys that did it, was called Real to Real. So they made the song, You Got to, Move It, I think it's called. You got to move it, move it. And that's what the original song actually came from, right? So I said, okay. So I'm listening to the song. I get them together. So I had with their pom-pom. Doom, 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 and then I had them step, throw this pom-pom down. I had to do a routine. I had them bend down, pick it up, and flip in the line. It was tight. I ain't made it like that on the spot, but as I was, I think about maybe that day or within 2 or 3 days, the routine was together. So the lady that introduced me or came and got me for the Darmstadt Diamonds, she said, well, I know somebody in the business, and I think they need someone to choreography for them, but I know somebody in the business I can introduce you to. I said, really? I said, okay, So she said, what I'm going to do is we're going to go out to the field so they can do the routine in the field, and I'm going to bring him so he can see you with the girls doing routine or what have you. Now, for some odd reason, people like to act funny around people. Now, the 8 was doing good, and I was showing them the routine. We get out in the field, open field, where they're supposed to do the routine, right? So I'm showing them the routine, I'm doing the routine, right? I'm telling them to do the routine. He's standing there, he's just watching. His name is Tyrone Vincent. This is where Keep It To Yourself gonna come after we did our tour. But that was later. But this is where we on the football field, and I'm showing them the routine. One of the girls just started acting all sassy, like she don't want to do it. I like, wait a minute, hold on. I said, what you messing up? Do the routine right. And she messed up on purpose. I said, in front of old boy, because they knew she brought him to come and see me to see them. Why are you messing up? I said, okay, I'll tell you what, come here. Now, they was doing routine, but they never saw the routine. When I showed them the routine, they was doing it, but they never looked at themselves doing it because I didn't have them doing it. I didn't want them to see themselves as of yet. So what happened was, the one that was messing, I said, come here. You ain't messing. This is my craft. I take pride in what I do. This is my craft. You ain't messing up what I do. I said, come here. Stand to the side and you look. So now I had 7 of them doing it. She boom, boom. They started, and all of a sudden, another one started messing. I said, come here. Come here. I don't know what's wrong with y'all today. Step over here. Stepped her over there. Now it's 5 of them doing. 6 of them. It got down to 4 of them. Now, the woman that got me, her daughter would catch on quick, and she was serious. She had a daughter that was part of it. But it got down to, I took 4 out standing to the side, and I had 4 doing the routine. And I said, listen, y'all, this is my craft. Y'all ain't gonna be doing that. Y'all ain't gonna mess up my work, what I'm doing. You see how they look? They still look good without y'all. That's what I told them. They still look good without. Y'all don't even have to be a part of this. It's gonna be just them folk. They went back in because they seen how the routine looked. They were shocked, but when they seen it, because they had a chance to see how it looked without them being in it. Now they see how it looked with them being a part of it. So they said, they were looking, so they got back in. They did the routine. They did it perfect. And, here. Okay, yeah. Well, I got one more person Tyrone Benson. Well, I got one more person I'm supposed to check out and see. I said, okay, bro, but just let me know. You want to? Just let me know. I'm not one, I don't kiss people butt. I don't suck butt. I don't do that. Like I always said, if it's for me, it's for me. If it ain't, it'll happen when it happens. So, I don't know if he was looking for me to be like, oh, I really want it. No, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. I don't know if he was looking for that or not. But the whole thing is, I said, okay, just let me know if you're interested. If you're interested and want me to help you out with whatever you're doing, let me know. So 2 or 3 days later, he ended up calling me back and said, well, the other guy didn't work out. So, yes, I like your work. I like what you did with the girls on the field and, talk to me, what have you, right? So, bam, we had a conversation. He said that he wanted me to be the dancer at this time. I was the hype man choreographer. I'm just telling you what I was before I got there. But I ended up being the hype man choreographer, rapper. When I mean by rapper, I don't mean rapper on the song at the time. I meant rapper as in when we do live shows, I would get out there and I would just freestyle. That's what I meant by rapping. I would freestyle. I was the choreographer. I was the hype man, because when they would sing, I'd be hyping it up, and, like I said, I was the choreographer. So we end up, he said, well, we got a studio in Frankfurt. The producer rented a studio in Frankfurt, right? I said, okay. He said, well, I heard the song and I don't think the song is going to be a hit. But what we're going to do, we're going to make them for the money. That's what he told me. He's a schemer anyway. But Tyrone Benson, that whatever he is, it is what it is. But what he told me, he said, well, we're going to I said, you know what? I said, if it's got a beat, and I told him, I said, if it's got a beat and I can dance to it, it's going to be a hit. I told him that. If it's got a beat and I can dance to it, it's going to be a hit, right? So bam. End up, we started listening to it. Bum, 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 bum. It was dun 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 dun. That was Imperial. Name of the group was Imperial, but the name of the song was Veni Vidi Vici, which means I came, I saw, I conquered. Right? That's what Veni Vidi Vici means. So I didn't know it at the time. I just knew that, okay, I'm just get with this group and I'm hearing this song. So I choreographed. It was really me, Tyrone, and 2 women the first time we performed. And we performed on the raft. We rolled out to Vienna, Austria, and they had a raft, like when I say a literal raft, I'm talking about wood, not planks, but wood rolls or what have you, rolled together, just like I'm talking about like a real raft, like you put a raft and then you out there, there was a raft, and they wanted us to dance and perform on the water. Man, I was like, couldn't really dance on that. You on water and you couldn't really move, I couldn't really get into it. The 2 girls, that was their first and last time performing with us. You know, that was their first and last time. Um, we was on the water. We ended up after that night. No, after that day, that night we went out. I remember. We went out. We were always after we would perform that either because that was during the day this time. That night we went to a club. We always go to a club, and that's when I was in the background. I'm just a dancer, right? Quote unquote. Really, I'm just a dancer, hype man, whatever. I'm really not dealing. Tyrone, he's dealing with he's dealing with Norbert. Norbert Reichert was our producer name. Norbert Reichert. He was dealing with Norbert, right? And I really didn't know him. And then I met him a couple of times, well, once or twice. I really met him, but I really wasn't connected, you know. So I'm only getting like a dancer's pay while he and I guess the girls, whatever, at first. I was agreed to what I was getting as a dancer. So that night, when I was at the club, I was getting off. I mean, I was dancing, whatever. I broke something down. I broke it all the way down to the ground, went to the ground, and popped back up. He said, "That's what I want." That was Norbert said, "That's what I want. That's perfect. That's what I want." From that point on, he was in love with me. He loved the way I danced. He loved the way I hit the floor. He was in love with me. When I say in love with me, he loved the way I danced. And like I told Tyrone, if it's got a beat, it's gonna be a hit because that's my thing. Music is like in my blood, you know, dancing that is. So after that night, I said, okay, now I'm feeling more comfortable because Tyrone, he wanted to try to have rings on me. He wanted to be like, okay, you only gonna do this. He wanted to change my name, try to tell me I said, my name is Juice. Juice is my performance name. Well, we ain't gonna call you Juice. We gonna do this. End up falling in line. My name Juice. You ain't gonna tell me who you think you is. This dude was trying to own me. You ain't doing that, you know. So what ended up happening was the next time we came out from Germany because we would travel from Germany to Austria. It would be like a 6-hour ride, right, cross country. We'd rent a car, travel from Frankfurt to Wales or any part, a certain part over in Austria. We go out there and then we'd meet Norbert and then we'd get ready for the shows. Now, this is when we end up meeting Manuela. For the next performance, we end up meeting Manuela, and I think this is when this was my Earth Day this time. That was in June when I got with the group. In July, I believe we had our first performance. And August was the second performance because this was my Earth Day. And this is when I met Manuela. When I met Manuela, I remember them talking about Witches Mountain. There's a place in Austria called Witches Mountain. They said, yeah, you see the nose there? And yeah, that's Witches Mountain. That what the people was talking to me about. And we was near what they call it, a ski, not a resort, but a place where they go on the water with the skis and stuff like that. And this was my first time ever getting on water skis. So like I say, I like to explore. When I was in the hotel, I get out during the day, but when doing nothing, I went out walking and looking, and end up going to this place and meeting these people. Told them that I was with the group Imperial and we'll be performing. They said, "Yeah, we'll be over there tonight." I believe what they said, but I said, "Yeah." I said they let me get on for free. They said, "You ever ski?" I said, "Never." Would you like to try? I said, yeah, I like to try. I never did. They gave me a vest. Got out there. They said, when you got to keep your knees bent, like in the bent position and hold your arms straight and just ride the waves. Boy, every time I kept hitting the boom. They were laughing. Boom, right? So I think I left. I came and said, come on back. They had cameras this time. They had cameras the second time because they wanted to catch me again. But this time I had it. Riding the waves, putting one foot up in the air, putting the other foot up in the air. I ain't take one arm off, but I had it. Second time, they said, "Oh, you got it this time." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I hope I see y'all tonight." So I don't know if I saw him that night or not, but we did perform, had a great time, and then that was in August. That was the day of my Earth Day. I think that was my 27th Earth Day. I think that was my 27th Earth Day then, when I was with Imperial, and I think that was my second show. And I remember we did a few shows. And like I said, we were just growing momentum. So, like I said, Tyrone Vincent was acting like he was trying to control me, right? So we riding home one day from a tour. We riding home. You there, G1? You there, G? Because you asked about the keep it to yourself. I'm about to give you that understanding right now. What happened is we're riding home. We're traveling home from Austria, from performing or what have you. So now we traveling home. I'm trying to, he's trying to tell me about me and trying to tell me. I mean, this guy's trying to tell me he don't even know me like that. We getting to know each other, yeah, friendship and all this and that. But he's trying to tell me about me, like he's telling me, and like he know me, and I'm like, bro, hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to talk to me. But no, don't say nothing. Don't. He's trying to, well, hold on, bro. I'm like, so I'm getting to the point. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. So I'm just quiet now because I don't want to start arguing and stuff like that, because this dude is trying to act like he controlling me or whatever, because I guess he think he done found me or what have you. But he's trying to control me. And it was just in my mind. Keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself is in my mind. That's where the song "Keep It to Yourself" came from. Keep it to yourself was in my mind. He kept trying to control me, control the conversation, trying to tell me this and tell me. I said, it ain't like that. But, he's the one who got me here. He's the one who, now I'm like trying to see, okay, where I'm going and where we at. So we coming home, and keep it to yourself is in my mind. Now I'm the driver because I got a license. He didn't have a license, but yet still he's too busy doing all this and this. So keep it to yourself stayed in my mind. When I got home, the first verse just came out. I just made the song. First verse came by the time I made it home, or before we made it to the next sound check, which was the next time we went to Europe, right? Now at this time, I'm not in because I started with Imperial before I went to the Darmstadt, before I started working at the dining facility. Now I'm at the dining facility. I've migrated from Anthony's Pizza. Now I'm working over at the dining facility. They knew that I was doing performances, so they would allow me to leave for the days that we have tours. And then there was another woman that was doing stuff with Luther Vandross. She would tour with Luther Vandross, so they would let her do it, as well as I would go and do my thing with Imperial. So I just threw that in because it had a lot to do with the dining facility as well. But the point I'm getting at is that now I done kind of got my first song together for my not the whole song, the first verse to keep it to yourself. So now we go on the next tour. We're going to the next tour. We in our hotel room. We all getting your voice together and whatever. I made a song called Far Away from Home. I came up with an idea of a song for that. Far away from home. You got me far, far, far away from home. I miss my children and I'm feeling all alone. Welfare's got me uptight. Unemployment got me up all night. That's how I started it off. I still remember that much of it. But yeah, it was called Far Away from Home. But when we went to go sound check, while they was doing their octaves and stuff like that, and when the beat came on, so we all had mics. I always had my own mic, right? So they up on the stage, and I'm walking down the steps, and I said, Keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. Let me tell you what's going around town. People always trying to put me down. People always talking this and that and don't even know the real fact. They only ask what's going on before they start talking stone. People always trying to talk quick and they always trying to be slick. Keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. And that's it. They got quiet. I stopped and I turned around. They both looking at me like this. Mouth wide open, eyes buck, both of them. But they heard me loud and clear. After that, I had no more troubles out of Tyrone Vincent. Now, he's plotting to get me kicked out. See what I'm saying? He's plotting to kick me out of the group now. I didn't know it. Jealousy sitting in. I'm like, we're a group. We're a team. Come on, let's build and make this thing happen. Now, all of a sudden, now after this day, now all of a sudden, well, you got to try to meet me out there. I had to catch him a couple of times on the way out there. Then he actually left me when I had to find my way out there. Jealousy is real, y'all. Jealousy is really real. I'm like, we a team, we building, we doing good. I think at this time, I did that, but I think that was just before, or that was right after, because it was September. Nope. I think that was afterwards, because it was September when we got we started in June together, July, August, September, we was nominated, or we end up getting the a gold plaque. We end up getting a gold plaque. Vinny BC, a gold plaque showing that we sold 250,000, which is 250,000 of our first CD of our first single, which is Vinny BC. We all got a gold plaque, right? I couldn't make it because I couldn't make it that day, whatever. One time they ended up going to Paris. I couldn't go there because of work schedules and stuff like that. They still trying to hold me down. But that's another point of view of it, you know. Just thinking on everything on the timeline from where I'm at. So end up getting y'all gotta excuse me, I was doing some cleaning, so I can't get this wet. So I was doing some cleaning, so I'm gonna finish up when I'm done. So now we end up getting the gold CD. Then what happened? See, I think this was after the first video. Now we did the first I think the first one or two was in July, August, September. We did about 2 or 3 different, because I told you the day of my Earth Day, the day before my Earth Day, the first one. And I think we did 1 or 2 up into the nomination for our gold plaque before we got to go. But that was in September. In October, the first week of October, or the first weekend of October, we had to go and do the video, Vinny BC, the video. So we got our gold plaque. So we won. We sold more. We sold 250,000 before we even did the video, right? But the video was done in October, because I remember, because the following year what I went through. But this is where just before we did the video, what happened was, throughout in that week, I was at the dining facility. I was working, and we did a half a day. We did a half a day at work, and then I came home. So I'm looking for Karen to cook. You know, usually I cook sometimes, but I'm looking for her to cook when I got home. I get home, she not there. So okay, I'm waiting around, right? It's a lot more I've done. I didn't really go into, like, you know, other things I've done as well, but doesn't pertain to dancing and stuff like that. But a lot of other things I've done that's going to come out maybe later. But you know, I made it home waiting. She ain't there. Waiting, she ain't there. So I'm like, man, this ain't like Karen to be gone like this. And it's a half a day. So I get up, and like I said, she wasn't a hoe. She wasn't out there. And I heard that from multiple sources, not just her friends, several people that knew her. Oh, I'm like I said, I'm pretty known around the community, And they were telling me that she ain't like that. She ain't no hoe. This and that, and this and that. That was before I even got with her. But I would ask about her. I was inquiring about her. And a lot of people, when I got with her, man, how you get her? How y'all get together? How did you get her? How did this and that? How did that? I know my steps is of the Creator, and everything is happening accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So, but when we got together, we was together. So at this time in October, the beginning of October of 94, beginning of October of 94, beginning of October of 94, I went home. She wasn't there. So like I was saying earlier, I got up, so I went to her job, where she worked at, right? And all of them is all German. She worked at the Straßenbahn, where the streetcars work at, where streetcars work from. I went there, so I said, "Is Kaden book here? Is Kaden book here?" They no Kaden. And one guy said, Kaden, yeah, her leg clink. I said, Kaden. Said, her leg clink. Yeah, she's at the clanking house. Her leg clink. She's at the clanking house. And clank means broken in German. Crank means broken. Her leg is broken. So by her leg being broken, she's supposed to be at the cranking house, which is the hospital. So I left there, and I don't know about driving, or I was taking the book. I think I walked around there. I don't know about driving at the time, because I was driving. I was traveling. But I don't know at that time if I was driving or not. I could have been driving, because it wouldn't make no sense for me to take the train and I'm already driving. So I probably parked the car, then I probably went to the cranking house, and she wasn't there. So I started looking around downtown. Why? This is why I'm saying that is something I didn't mention. We smoking hashes. We smoke hash. We would smoke hash. So I'm walking around downtown. I said, man, she be around here probably trying to buy some hashes or what have you down the way. So we walking around, we looking. I'm looking rather. I don't see her. I mean, this ain't like Karen to be gone like this. So I ended up going back to the house, to the apartment. So I ended up going back to the apartment. Now, I'm at the apartment. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, this ain't like Karen to be gone. But I'm still waiting for her to come on and cook. I'm not worried, because she's a good woman. And she ain't never showed any signs of cheating. So Jürgen, her younger brother, comes in. And Jürgen, he don't speak. He's learning just by me being around, he's learning English. He don't know any English neither. Now, she knows a lot more, because she knew Stephanie and Stephanie and Michelle. They spoke English well. But by them speaking English, she was around them, so she was picking up on English before me and her got together. But we was able to, and more me and her got together, she learned. She taught me some German. I taught her English, right? So I'm in the house, Jürgen come in. I said, Jürgen, you mind coming with me? I said, you seen Karen? He said, no, he seen Karen. I said, you mind coming to me? Because he speaks German. I said, well, you go to the, they said, Karen leg clank. He said, what? I said, yeah, Karen leg clank at her job. Her job said her leg clank. I said, you mind going with me and we go? He said, yeah, come on, let's go. He got together. Jürgen was cool, brother. I like Jürgen. Jürgen was a cool man. I mean, he was cool. You know what I'm saying? He was like one of them cool boys. You know what I'm saying? I like Jürgen. So we left. I'm sitting outside. He going in and he going to talk. Now, the video is coming up this weekend. I'm sitting in the car. He's going in and he's talking to them. I'm sitting in the car and I'm contemplating. I'm meditating, really. I said, if her leg broken, should I go do the video? Or should I stay home? Should I go do the video or should I stay home? I said, man, this is my chance. This is the chance I've been waiting on, and this is my time now. This is my time. This is what I'm contemplating in my mind. This is my time now. This is my chance to really make it. We've been talking about this when I was in Detroit all the time. We talking about trying to make it, and this might be my time. And I was thinking, well, she been too good for me. It's like two sides of my mind, talking to me. I'm talking, and I'm contemplating. Well, she been too good for me to leave her, and she's been a good woman. Should I leave her if she got a leg broken to go do the video? But this might be my chance. This might be my chance. I'm saying this on my mind. So I just said, should I go do the video or should I not? Should I do the video or should I not? And I made up in my mind right then. I said, I tell you what. I said, well, I'm going to stay at home with her. She been too good of a woman for me to leave her to go do a video. I said, if it's meant for me, it'll happen. So I'm going to stay at home with her. But if it's meant for me, it'll happen. If it's meant. Right? And I made up my mind. Soon as I got done with that, you can come back outside and said, kind of leg clank. She had to clank on her. I said, dang. I was like, dang, there go my chance. That's what I thought in my mind. Dang, there go my chance. But I made my mind up. So we riding down the street. As we're riding down the street, I'm going to the crank house. My mind just still focused. And you're going to hear on the side of me as I'm riding. Then it was like I seen out of the corner of my eye Karen and Susan, which is another friend of hers. I'm riding. Karen said, Jürgen said, there go Karen and Susan. It was like a light went up in my head. I said, yeah, that was them. It was like I seen them, but I didn't see them because I keep my eyes on the road. So I made a 3-point turn. I pulled up. I said, Karen, get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. And Susan and whoever else with him was in the back. She got in front with me. Jürgen was in the back. I said, Ken, it ain't like you be going all day. Where you been? Where you been? Where you been going? Where you been going? And now I'm traveling heading back to the house. She said, we just went and got a donut. We went and got some hashies. We got some donut. We just went out for a minute. We just, we just gone. We get some donut and hashies, right? I said, Ken, it ain't like you be going. There's something wrong. And then next thing you know, I was fasting. I didn't even realize I was fasting because I never fasted before. But I fast not knowing I was fasting because I hadn't ate anything all day. I got up, got myself together, went to work. We did a half a day. I came back, been at home all day, had nothing to eat. Went and looked for her and everything, hadn't ate anything, not realizing I was fasting. And this is around the time of the Day of Atonement. I didn't realize it and I didn't know it. All I knew is that she wasn't home. It wasn't like her to be gone. And it was just shocking. And then see her and Susan walking down the street eating a donut, and she had another one for me. But but the whole thing is, so I pulled up in the apartment complex. They get out. I'm tired. That's why I say I'm fast, because now I'm weak. I'm tired. I'm like, okay, Karen, I know you. I know you faithful. I know you good. It's all right. I'm good. I'm good. She said, yeah, well, we just went and got a donut. She was real innocent. She don't know what's going on. So I parked. Me and her, we get out. Now everybody got out in the back end. I parked. Me and her get out. I'm walking towards the building. I'm walking towards the apartment building. She behind me. As I'm getting close to the building, I don't know if I ever told y'all about the shower of blessing. I felt this like ointment from the top of my head come down over my face and down my body. I said, Karen, it was a test. It was a test. It was a test. I said, it was a test to see if I was going to leave you or if I was going to go and do the video, and I passed the test. I passed the test. It was a test. And she came, she was hugging on me, and she was wiping my tears off me, and she was hugging me and kissing me. And she really couldn't say nothing. I'm telling her it was a test. It was a test. I said, I'm telling her I love her and stuff, hugging her and stuff like that. And she wiped my tears and stuff. And then when we got in the house, and then as our friends came by, she said, God touched Mike tonight. God touched Mike. God touched Mike. I said, yeah, it was a test. It was a test. It was a test to see if I was going to be selfish enough to leave you, or if I was going to stay and or if I was going to go and do the video. And I passed the test. So that was my first anointing. You there, G? Hope you went to sleep on me. If you have, we're gonna go with part 3 and part 4 next week. Okay, great, because I got a lot more to go. That's cool.
Because I got bad things that we ain't even get into, bro. Like,
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm telling the story so you can come back and ask more questions from one of the stuff that I'm saying.
I wanted to go in a certain order with it, but like you kind of just kept going, so it was just like, yo, I'm gonna just let him just tell it how he wants.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I was able to share that, man, because that's how Keep It To Yourself came about. And that's when I had my first anointing. That's when I had my first, and now the weekend come when we did our first video.
Well, yeah, into all stuff like that, but it's like it was a certain way I wanted to get to it, but like like you kept, you was going and going. So
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to say it. Let me tell you about the video, and then if you ask a couple of questions, or we can just go to next week. We can do it. We can pick it up.
Like, because I would want to get them all off, and that's like, nah, we can't extend it now because it's already been. It's like,
I got you, bro. I appreciate you though, bro, because you got me hyped on this right here, just sharing the story.
Well, no, I'm glad you, like you said, it's just giving you a chance to like go down memory lane and really think about it all. You know what I mean? And process it all. So yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro, for real. Cause I'm thinking on some things, man. There's all kinds of stuff coming to my mind. There's even stuff that I've forgotten that's coming, but just this right here just brings stuff to the forefront.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just go back over it though. Like I know you already touched on a lot of it, but like the way in the order, I'm gonna have to just.
Yeah, that way you can ask questions about certain things, and I can kind of go into it a little bit more.
Well, yeah.
That's gonna be on point. But just to share, what I do is I end it right here with the video now, and then we'll pick up next week on open conversation on next Sunday. But what I was going to share with this now come the Sabbath or Saturday. I didn't know it was the Sabbath at the time. Now we're doing the video. This is Benny Bitty BC. We're going to get ready to do the Benny Bitty BC, the video. So now, she and I invited her to come with me for the first time. I invited her to come with me. I didn't know how the video was going to go. She knew I was going to do the video. I invited her to come. So we go. This is Cologne, Germany. Cologne, Germany. This is where we went to shoot the video in Cologne, Germany. And while we was at Cologne, Germany, we had a hotel and everything, but we ended up going to this place, more like a place where you can work out at. And matter of fact, we was like in Roman gear, you know what I'm saying? Like a toga, but this was more like orange or brown. I actually took a picture. Me and my mother was talking about it a few days ago. I actually sent her the pictures. I ended up using the pictures for something and lost them. She didn't want me to take them, but I don't know how I lost those pictures. I don't know where they went or I don't know what happened to them, but I lost those pictures with me and her on them. But what happened was me and her, we took a picture. She had all white on and I had my toga thing on, and we was working out a little bit. My arm was thick. And we took some nice pictures at the time. And, I sent that to her, to Mama, and, other pictures out. And many magazines that we was in, I sent them out to a lot of people here in the United States, and some of them got them, some of them didn't, some of them may have seen them, I don't know. But I sent the magazines and stuff here as well. But at this time, we went we was at a hotel, went to a place to like this little gym area. I was doing a little workout or what have you. We left from there and went to this like abandoned building where they have to set everything up. And when you look at Benny Bitty Beach, you'll see the place was made like a Roman style type of situation. And it was like orgy and all this. It was Rome. I didn't know what it was at the time because all I knew was just I'm performing. And then I come to understand that this is something like it had something to do with the Bible. That's all I knew. I didn't know what, and it was good or bad. All I knew it had something to do with the Bible. That's all I knew. So, and I just knew, I didn't even know it was Rome until we just really, more I got into it. Then, okay, it's the Roman style. And then they always had those two pillars, those Roman pillars. That was more like our signet, the two pillars. So, we went there, and I think, yeah, we went there. We all performed. I performed. They were singing, and then the girls that was there. No, that's the first time I ever heard of capoeira. Capoeira, dancing, fighting style. That's the first time I ever heard. They introduced that to me there at the video. It was a lot of women there. They they couldn't dance. I don't know if they were models, but they couldn't dance. So I had to show them how to pump like that, and just kind of move a little bit, just pump. You know what I'm saying? So they asked me to show them that. So I actually, when you see a lot of in that video, matter of fact, it'll be in. I'm gonna have all the links to my videos and my songs as well. Will be in the in the post. My songs and stuff will be in the post. I'm gonna make sure they're gonna be in there, so y'all can pull them up and check them out from the post. But so I showed them how to pump and stuff like that. And I remember one time I was sitting down. You see, I had curly hair. I had a golden cup. And one time in the video when we all like we orgying and what have you, I had a golden cup. It was like I'm drinking out a cup like that. Karen was jealous. She was mad. When I say jealous, I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I just knew we was doing a video. I didn't know. Boy, she was just them girls was eyeing me. I didn't pay no attention to my woman there. I ain't, but dang, it was a trip. She was jealous. Do you know she was so jealous that night when we was at the hotel room? I had to leave out the hotel. She was so jealous. We was bickering and stuff. I had to leave and go outside. I'm standing outside by the wall, and end up Manuela and a group of girls coming down the walkway. Say, hey, Mikael, what's going on with Mikael? What's going on? And I said, nothing. There's nothing going on. It's just, and I think from that point on, I only think I may have brought her to two, maybe three more of our, if that, of our, not videos, but tours, just bringing on a tour. I think maybe once to three, between 1 or 3 times after that, she came with me because I'm saying she was jealous, and I wasn't even thinking about, all that. The girl was looking at me. I wasn't, but she was jealous. She was jealous. I didn't know it was going to be like that. And didn't nothing happen. But yeah, when we was down there in there with all the girls and stuff like that, and she was jealous. It looked like I guess it looked like a real orgy, but it wasn't. Everybody seen that it wasn't. But she was jealous. She was red hot mad, boy.
Hey, yo, but you didn't give your girl no special attention after she felt like
that? Of course I did. Of course I did. Huh?
Like you ain't made love to her or nothing. Like,
bruh, we couldn't. She was too mad.
That's how you get her to not be mad.
No, bruh, listen. I can't. You can't force yourself on somebody when she's mad. She already knew. I said, Karen, I'm right here with you. I ain't have to go with none of them girls. We was in the room after the video shoot. When we made it back to the room that night, it was me and her. She was there the whole time. She ain't seen nothing. She know I ain't nothing.
But you couldn't sweet talk, like you ain't giving no kisses.
Bruh, of course I did, but she was upset. She was upset. Her mind was on that day. Her mind was hot on what all happened throughout that day and how them girls were looking at. So whatever's in her mind that day, we was young, so.
Okay, and maybe that wasn't a good idea, bringing her to that. Not knowing.
I didn't know, bruh. That was my first video. I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like the tours. We go to the tour. I wasn't messing around. We go to the tour. We go out that night. We have a nice time. We go back. I do the tour. After we perform, we go out that night. We eat. Then we go back to the hotel.
Be a thing. Now she's gonna be thinking all the time, like this Probably like every time you go do your thing, she gonna be thinking like, yo,
Nah, she knew me better than that. She knew she can trust me. She knew I was good. But it's just that her being there seeing it, you know.
that's what. Once she seen that, I know it's probably like every time you go away now, she probably see that in her mind, like, you know what I mean?
Maybe, but she knew what type of guy I was. She knew I loved her. I mean, I remember me. That was my baby, man. Yeah, I'm more like when I got a woman, that's who I'm with. I'm kind of like that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like when you an actor or like a big movie star, I'm sure they got girlfriends or wives or whatever, and they wife understand, like, yo, my man might be on the set with these people, but like, I know at the end of the night, he come home to with me and shit. So, like, yeah, I think that's how she should have been able to look at it, but
But when you're young, you don't think like that. I mean, don't
like
forget.
I'm saying, it's her first time exposing to seeing this thought. Is because, like you said, she never thought about it. She never seen it.
Exactly. And not only that,
When it's out of sight, it's out. So it's like when she seen it, now it's like heavy on the mind.
that's right. But don't forget, I'm 9 years. I think I was 9 years older than her. I was 27. I think she was 17, 18. She had just turned 18. I was 27.
Wow, damn, that was super young. I'm thinking she's at least in her 20s.
And you know something? Check this out. I'm glad we just said that because I thought about this too. When I first made it over there, and I told him, and remember I told you, my children's mother used to know how to get on my nerves. She knew how to pick my button, push my button. When I got with Karen, that, like I said, that spell was broken. When she tried to make me mad, right? And I told her, I said, I think I told her, no, what it was is I told him, I said, well, I just met somebody over here. She said, yeah. I think at the time I was 26 and she was 17. That's what it was. I was 26, she was 17. I'm in Germany. And I said, yeah, I met a woman over here. Now I got a girlfriend now. I ain't say girlfriend. I think I said I met a woman. I met a young lady or what have you. They said, oh yeah. They said her and her sister, my children's mother and her sister. They both on the phone. And I said, yeah. They said, how old is she? Oh, I said, she's 17. Ooh, you gonna go to jail? You gonna go to jail? I said, no, I ain't. They said, why you ain't? You gonna go to jail? She's 17. You 26. I say, I'm not in the United States. I'm in Germany. Germany and United States ain't the same. And I could tell the look, I'm revisiting it in my mind. When I said that, and if she tried to say something to make me mad, and I laughed, I could hear the you know, like she mad because she couldn't get to me. And I just laughed because that spell is broken. That spell is.
Hey, so is this the one you also have children with over there?
Huh?
This the one you have the children with over there?
Yep, same one. She got both my boys.
Wow.
And I hadn't got to that point yet, so that's coming next week.
Wow.
I got a story, bro.
Let's stop right there, man. Let's just, because like I said, it's too much. But like, yeah, man, next week, well, I guess we got to make it a 3 and 4 next week.
Yeah, bro. Man, you just helped bring back some memories.
No, it's always good to have a good, especially when, you know, like I said, that was a great time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wife, new kid, new life, new everything. Yeah, new group, new, you know what I'm saying? Doing big things. So, yeah, that's probably one of the best times in your life, I'm quite sure.
Well, it's better coming. It's better things coming because now you asked me about a scripture that will remind me of something. And what the best thing I can give you right here is this. Just like Job had a nice life, a rich life before He got tested. Then he went through some turmoil. But after Job went through the turmoil, he came out double or triple blessed than he was before. That's where I'm at now. That's where I'm growing to. I already know it. See, the stuff that I've been through and what I've experienced and what I've come through and come to know now, my end is going to be greater than my beginning and than my past.
Well, that's like I said earlier, is everything you go through is so you can keep getting better. So of course it's not to get worse, or you know what I mean. Everything should be getting, even if it's a little bit better, it's better. You know. Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that, because I see it and I know it, because of the information that we've come across, what we've come to know, and what was spoken of in the scriptures, what was prophesied for to happen for us. I'm in it. I'm a part of it. Compared to where I was, where the Creator brought me from, to understand about the Roman Empire, which is what we are, which is this whole world is consisted of, going through many pieces, which is the Roman Empire, coming out of that, coming to learn the information, to know where I'm going now. I made a promise, which I haven't gotten to yet, is a part of the story. And it's all a part of it. Other than that, just had a pretzel. We're going to save part 3 and part 4 for next week. And I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This is prophesied for you to see, that Mikael is really me. And we get ready to smile our way out, and this was a beautiful night of open conversations at Fight Fire with Truth. Next week, we're going to have where it says Life of Mikael, question and answers, part 3 and 4. That's going to be next week. So that's going to be the other part of what we're sharing right now, which is my life. And I would really love to make a book or maybe even a movie out of the stuff that I've been through and the stuff that I've come through, and that I've shared. Other than that, I'm going to smile way out. Smile Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shekebo, Vakuto Yolam, Va'ed. Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father, for the reading of your word. Thank you for all you shared, been sharing, and doing. We thank you for all you brought us to, brought us through, and where you're leading us to. We thank you, Father, for all in your holy word and spirit and all things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise you, Almighty. Huh? Got a new cat?
Kitty cat.
Huh?
Keith.
He's being a lot more chattery now, too. So other than that, I appreciate you, G1, for helping me bring this out, sharing more information, and I'm be looking forward for more of your questions next week. And I'm glad I was able to kind of flow through with what I remember at this point. other than that, it's very beautiful, y'all. I'm telling you, it's just good just going over the memory, thinking about it. So other than that, we still here. Good, we're still recording. So if anybody like to get in contact with me, please text or call me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. Or you can email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. Or you can connect with me on YouTube or X, formerly known as Twitter, which I call X Twitter. So you can check me on X Twitter or on my YouTube. You can like, subscribe, and share at Juice Pro 33. That's JUICE PRO 33 all together. That's Juice Pro 33 on X, Twitter, or YouTube. And also you can catch me on Instagram and TikTok. That's Instagram and TikTok at Lakeim_the Juice, which is LKHYYM_THEJUICE. That's LKHYYM_THEJUICE. That's Lakeim_the Juice. And you can also catch me on TikTok at Michael the Juice Harris. That's MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. That's Michael the Juice Harris. That's my other TikTok. Also, you can catch me on Facebook. My Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. All right. Now, if you'd like to see the full version, which is from Zoom, the full version you can actually check and catch on YouTube video. The YouTube video is the full version. YouTube Live is part 1 and part 2. So YouTube full version is under video, on YouTube. And also you can catch me on patreon.com/LKHYYM. That's LKHYYM at Patreon / and then you got rumble.com/ I say LKHYYM. That's rumble.com / LKHYYM. Those are the platforms that I'm on. Now, the nights that I'm on that you can catch me, the nights that I'm on Zoom, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live, I'm on quote unquote the night after Sunday, which is 9 p.m. After Sunday, which is Sunday. People call it Sunday night, 9 p.m. At this time. It's called Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation, which is what we had tonight. Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation, which is what we had tonight, as well as tomorrow, after tomorrow evening or tomorrow night, shall I say, we have Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth, night after Sunday. Mikael's Knowledge of Truth at 9 p.m. as well, Eastern Time. This is Eastern Time for each and every one. And then on Tuesday night, for those who decide that they want to become free or learn to become free, which is Introductory to Solving Class of Knowledge. This is one of the things that I was sharing that I've come a long way to understand where I'm at today to help people get to another way. Let me put it like that. Way of life. That's Introductory to Solving Class of Knowledge. And you'll have to email me because this is Zoom only, which is private. This is Zoom only and it's private. So you have to email me your email or text me your email. Tell me you want to get on. And let's have a conversation, because we're not just having anybody come on. We just have to make sure we got people who are serious. That this is a serious situation. No different than when I'm serious about my dancing moves and dancing, teaching dancing. Serious with this situation as well, because this is taking my time and it's a serious situation. So that's introduction to solving class and knowledge. 6 p.m. so far, 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays, Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Then on the Sabbath, now we will have them on Freedom Freedom Solving Class of Knowledge. That's going to be on Wednesday for those who has passed the one for the introductory. Once you get past the introduction and get in your private office, then we have the Freedom classes that will be opening up for those who are serious. And don't forget on the Sabbath, which is the Assembly of the Righteous. We're here on the Sabbath, which is people call Saturday. It's the Sabbath at 12 p.m. noon, which is the beginning of the evening. 12 p.m. noon, which is the beginning of the evening. And hopefully we'll see you then. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. There's Eastern time for each and every one. So we can really say bye over here to Facebook. All right. For everybody over here on Facebook, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you. See you soon. And I hope you like the information of tonight. Peace. All righty. And over here on Instagram, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace.
You got a new dog.
Mm-hmm.
A new dog.
And for YouTube Live, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace.